and the problem that I was working on and accidentally left off something.
What? I think I have it. Oh, I'm sorry. I always forget you have long legs.
This is the problem we were working on, and I left something out, so just kind of edge through what we did last time, and I'm going to redo this one because I left off one part because I didn't see it. So we know that this is directly. Let's take our highlighter out, and let's highlight directly. So that means we're going to use y is equal to k times x. Now, I want to take another highlighter, and I want you to highlight this. This is important. When I say the square of something, and this is in all of 6.4, when you see the square of the distance, I want you to write down a square root symbol and mark through it, because that is not, when we say take the square of something, that means this. But in this case, mark through that. It doesn't mean take the square root. It means to raise it to the second power. So put a little square like that. So in 6.4, when you see those words, I want you to highlight those words. I want you to mark through the radical and put an exponent. So just right here, I'm going to go ahead and take that D, and I'm going to put a square root. Not a square root, but a square. If you see it in 6.4, future questions, there is no radicals in 6.4. So let's write that down. Put a red X through that radical. There is no square roots. A lot of people, when I say the square of, some people think that means take the square root of. So I disagree with the way they've had that written, but I'm not going to worry about it. So what comes first? Y. What am I going to replace Y with? What comes first in the paragraph? A. So I'm going to replace Y with A. K never what? Never changes. And then I'm going to plug in what? D squared for X. So there is my formula. What I left out the other day, I didn't see this. And that's why I left the square out. So now that's the first part. The first part is write the equation, replace the variables. Second part, plug and chug. So what am I going to plug in? A distance of 25 feet. So that means D. So I'm going to plug in 25 feet. K. And 100. So what's the only thing I can do with that equation? Solve for what? K, because that's the only thing that's left. So 25 squared is 625. And as you said, we're going to divide. And whatever you do on one side, so somebody take your calculator. I hate writing red. I don't know why this thing defaults to red. Okay? What is 100 divided by 625? Somebody give me like 3 digits.
0.16.
0.16 even?
Yeah.
Everybody get that?
Yep.
Now what I do with that K? Plug it back into the original equation and go to part 3. So this is part 1. Replacing the what? Variables. Part 2 is plug in what? And usually solve for K. After you find K, you do what? You plug it back into the original equation. And now you do part 4, And part 4 is more for what? Information. And I wrote that down. So I want you to finish this problem out. So you've got A is equal to KD squared. And then they say, what is the area, what is A, of the projection screen when the projector is at a distance of 40 what? Feet. So part 4, I'm going to take A equals 0.16 parentheses 40 squared. And I want somebody, 40 squared, you don't need a calculator for that. That's 1600. So I want you to take 0.16 of 16 times 1600. What do you get? 256 square feet. That's a BA screen. And that's how you do that problem. Now, this is the problem. This is the type of problem that'll be on the test. Okay? I'm not going to, I might give you 1 or 2 plug and chugs, but as far as 6.4, if I was to pick a problem out of 6.4, it will be one that has the 4 parts. Now, you're not going to do 4 parts. You just do it, you know, kind of like continuously one calculation, but it has 4 little parts. So make sure you write that one down because that's a good one. And of course, they're going to do the 4 parts on the next, I don't know what that was, on the next screen.
The Google Chrome stop working.
Okay. There's K. That's 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2. Now they're going to take that 0.16 and put it in for K. Well, they didn't show that, which they should, but they didn't. Okay, they say use K. There it is. And then you get 256. So that's where we left off with class the other day. Let me make sure Miss Woodward was she's pretty good about, nope, she hadn't texted, so I guess Miss Woodward got 3 missing today. I guess they're going on daggone break early.
I was going to.
Well, I appreciate you coming to class. Thank you very much.
My mom would kill me if I didn't show up.
Well, good for you. Good for your mother. It's called raising the bar. I'm just kidding. Okay, look at there. Varies what? So what is that? Y is equal to what? Y'all wrote it down in your notes the other day. I just want y'all to kind of look back in your notes, you know, kind of K over. Mm-hmm. And here she is. Well, there she is. Y is equal to K over X. Now, are you going to use the same methods? Yes. You're going to use the same steps, except the question is not going to say direct. It's going to say what? Inverse. You on drugs?
Yeah.
Okay. Y is equal to K. That comes from My Cousin Vinny. Anybody see My Cousin Vinny? Great movie.
I thought you meant like
I make it a hamburger. That's what I grew my dish like.
My Cousin Vinny, the judge asked Joe Pesci, "Are you on drugs?" Anyway, if you haven't seen My Cousin Vinny, that's your parents' fault. That is a good movie. It's got the Karate Kid in it.
The which one?
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
Which one? Jaden Smith? Or the original?
You don't like the Karate Kid? Good gosh, what do? You think about killing Winnie the Pooh? I mean,
I love Winnie the Pooh. But yeah, I do watch serial killer things.
Same. I've been watching that for like
all right, write this one down.
Law and Order.
The loudness, now you don't have to write this down word for word, but stereo speaker, the loudness L of a stereo speaker, measured in decibels, varies inversely. There's that square again. So we're going to do some highlighting. I appreciate you bringing those donuts in here today. Appreciate it.
Oh.
L varies inversely, so I'm going to color that. Let's use our magenta that really is not magenta, it's purple. And then yellow, dang old LSU colors. The square as the square of the distance. And there's that square again, which means that I'm going to take my exponent and put it where? Right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do
Can't see
that.
that.
Will you just be quiet and give me time?
Maybe you gotta do it.
Okay? If the loudness is 20 decibels, all right, so I want you to go ahead and I want you to write the inverse formula with the new variables, and I want you to plug and chug. So write your new formula. I'll put it at the top. Y is equal to K over X. And which one does not change?
Okay.
K does not change. Now you may have heard me say that 5,000 times the last two classes. Why am I repeating it so much?
People change it.
Because y'all change it. That's one of the mistakes y'all make. Y'all change it. I don't know why. So rewrite it, and I'm not going to try to do it I'm just going to go to the next slide because I can't write it on there. It'll just be a mess. If the loudness, L, is 20, when the listener is 6 feet, that's D, then you got to find K. And after you find K, what do you do with K? Plug it back into the original equation. So I'm going to go ahead and at least write the formula. What comes first? L, right?
L.
So L is going to go, I'm going to try to do this animation so y'all, L is equal to, I do so many things for y'all, equals K over, and then what is
X.
D what? Squared. So that's what your formula needs to look like. L is equal to K over D squared. Now plug and chug. And I'm just going to go to the next slide for that. There's L is equal to K over D squared. So they get K is equal to 720.
Crap.
36 in town.
Well, how do you get rid of a fraction? Multiply by the what? Denominator. What's the denominator? 36. So I'm going to multiply this side by 36. And this side by 36. So now I'm going to write L. I'm going to put a uppercase L because the uppercase L, and I'm only doing this because what does the lowercase L look like? It looks like a 1, so I'm not going to do that. Don't do that in a normal situation, a test question. You put the I. I'm just doing L because it looks like a 1. All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this. Now, some of y'all may not know what this is. There. It's cursive, yeah. Some of y'all may not know what that is.
We do.
Okay, good. So L is equal to 720 over what? D squared. And that is your formula for this inverse variation. I don't know if they're going to give you another number to plug in or not after this slide. Oh, easily? I'm going to be sending you, and for those I hope watching this video that are not here today, I'm going to be sending you an email in the near future, probably this weekend, maybe today, maybe this weekend or Monday. And it's going to be labeled 6.6 handouts. You with me? Yes or no, Easley? Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I might put them on y'all's, where I got handouts and on the My Labs Plus page. I might put them on there also. But they are for 6.6, which is by itself a test. We haven't got to 6.6 yet. The reason I'm doing it now is because I found them this morning, and I've lost them for like 2 semesters, and I found them, and I said, well, I better go ahead and scan it. I've already scanned it. I'm going to send it to you, and we'll went ahead and passed it out today. It's 2 handouts. Well, no, it's not. It's 2 sets of handouts. How many pages is the first one? 1. Well, it's not front and back because it's going to be scanned, so it's going to be all front for you. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One is 7 pages, and the other one is 1, 2, 3. The other one is 3 pages. You with me? Staple the first 7 pages, and the second 3 pages. Staple them together, because we're going to go be using that on 6.6. All right, next. Joint variation. That is y is equal to what?
KXZ.
Okay, KXZ. There it is. Do the same methods apply here?
Yep.
Yes. So let's go ahead and go to the example. All right, look at that one. Write this one down, because these are all 3 basic questions that I would ask you on the test. The area of a triangle varies jointly as the base and the height. So there's your variables you're going to change. If the area of the triangle is 48 inches squared, that means the area, A, when its base is 12 and its height is 8, find the area whose base is 15 and 20. So this is a 4-part. So I'll do the first 2 parts for you. I'm going to go here, and since I'm good to y'all, I'm going to highlight what? Oh, really? I hate. I'm going to let y'all copy, and I'm going to try to do this. Let's try this again. There's A. And here's your purple. And this is yellow. And this is green. No. Let's go with that blue, that light blue. Carolina blue. If the area of the triangle is 48 inches, okay, so now I'm going to write my formula. So A, wait a minute, Y is equal to KXZ. So now I'm going to do the first part. I'm going to plug and chug. A is equal to, just look at all the stuff I'm doing for y'all. What? K doesn't change. And then what? B. And then H. Okay, that's the first part. Now what do we do? Plug and chug. So what are we going to plug in? Well, I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter, and A is right here. B is right here, and H is right here. So that's part 2 or 3, one of the two. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in my green, and that's going to be 48 equals K, and 12 and 8. Okay, now you don't need a calculator for this, okay, because I'm going to show you something, okay? I'm going to show you how to use your brain in critical thinking. Everybody with me? All right, so I'm not going to multiply 12 times 8. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to divide. You'll be surprised how many people have never seen this before. Now, you can divide the 12 into 48 or the 8 into 48. They're both multiples. But I'm going to divide the 12. Why am I going to do that? Because it's, 12 will go into 48. How many times? 4 times. And what's 4 over 8? 1 over what? Isn't it a miracle? So K is equal to 1/2. That's called using your what? Brain.
I can get rid of the action. Oh, you can get rid of the 8 too, good one.
There's no way you can't get 1/2 by dividing these. 8 will go into 48 how many times? 6 times. What's 6 over 12? 1/2. There is no way that you cannot do it unless you can't do simple math. Or unless you don't want to because you want to depend on the calculator. So, let's take our K and plug it back in. Y is equal to 1/2 times X, A is equal to 1/2 BH. And there's our formula. So there's our part 3. Now, what's part 4? Well, A is equal to K, 1/2, times, what is our first number? 15 and 20. So I'm just going to do 15 over 1 times 20 over 1. Why am I doing that? Because I want to use my brain. 2 will go into 20 how many times? 10 times, Hubert. So, and anybody can multiply by 10. All you got to do is add a what? Why are you using a calculator? I mean, at least try. I mean, I swear, if I told you the sky was blue, you know what you would say? It's red. I mean, try to work with me a little bit. Oh, I sit here and try to say, try to work with your brain. You go use a calculator. Like, get to hell with what he says. I'm going to be stupid. A is equal to, what is 15 times 10? 150. You're tough. You can take it. All right, 150. Now, I know that looks like Toys R Us, the way I did it, but I did it to kind of help you see, if you find your own little way of doing it, then these are not that what? They're not that difficult. It's basically plug and chug, find K, plug K back in, and then plug and chug again. And make sure you use your calculator, okay?
Oh,
The hell with what he's saying. Next, there it is. K is equal to 1/2. And let's see if we got it right. 150. Combined. Sometimes we can combine them. Now I'm going to let you write this one down. The load, L, capital L, that is a horizontal beam can safely support varies jointly as the width and the square of the depth, and inversely as the length. Now I want you to just concentrate on what that says. So we're going to highlight just this part right here. You don't have to write this last sentence because it basically says what I'm fixing to do. So you don't have to write that down. So I want you to focus. I want you to write this part down right here. Write that down. What? Oh yeah, you're on drugs. I forgot. You want to play with your hands some more? That was the load L that is horizontal. The horizontal, but you know what that's called? It's called tensile strength. How much like a 2x4? How much a 2x4 will hold? That's called tensile strength. All right, I'm going to highlight two things for y'all. And I'm going to highlight them both the same color. Varies. Oh, come on. I hit the highlighter. I need a break too. I'm going to highlight.
Don't come in it.
Don't worry. Oh, there'll be some DA come to the parking lot. I bet you $1 there will be. Okay, I'm going to highlight those two things right there. So, varies jointly. What is jointly? Y is equal to KXZ. And then what is inverse? Y is equal to K over what? X. Now I can't have the same variable, so I'm going to change the inverse to K over W.
Can you let us finish writing it real fast?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. We'll just wait on you. Yeah.
She's doing it too, but I can't concentrate what you're saying if I'm trying to write it.
You don't listen to me anyway. Yeah, I'm going to use a cursive. I would suggest y'all use cursive in your notes because that lowercase l in non-cursive looks like a 1, and you might think it's a 1. You don't have to write that last sentence. You can if you want to, but you don't have to write it. Because all it says is substitute the variables. All right. How are you, Aisley? You got it written down?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to change that K over X into K over W. Is that okay? Because you can't have the same variable, so I'm going to erase it. And I'm going to change that to W, depending on where you're from. Well, that's not going to let me do this. I know it's not. No, it's not. Anyway, what I wanted to do was slide this over here. I think I might as well just quit. What I wanted to do is pick it up and move it over here, but it's not going to let me. So what I'm going to do is the K, that never what? That never changes. So that K is going to overlap that K, and it's going to be okay. But I'm going to hit divide, and I'm going to put a W. So here is what is the product of this right here. Now we haven't changed any variables yet. When you have a joint, when you have a combined variation, the first thing you do is not to replace the variables. That's not the first thing you do. The first thing you do, let's write this in red. The first thing you do when you have a combined is you need to figure out base formula. Why? Because it's combined. You've got two variation formulas and you need to figure out what it looks like. Okay? So I just did that. Now I can go through and what? Now I can go through and change my variables. Which way do we read? Left to right. So what is y going to be? Big what? Big L. Big L is equal to K. Okay, what's next? Well, let's read it.
W.
Horizontal beam, W. So I picked the wrong letter, but anyway, W. What's Z? D what?
Square.
D to the second power. Over lowercase l, which is a curved, cursive L. There, what?
Keep thinking it's I. No.
That's why I say use cursive L. Y'all don't listen too well. Easily, do y'all have a problem hearing me? Because
No.
Anderson, I'm standing right in front of him, and
We try to block him out.
yeah. Okay, now that's your answer here. I don't know if they're gonna give us another problem, but that's your answer. Question? Great. Complaint? There it is. Back. I mean, I tell people I'm in class till 2 o'clock. I just tell them 2 o'clock so I can, but do they listen? All right, there we go. The owners of Henrietta Hots, okay, find their weekly sales of hot dogs. I don't think I would call it Henrietta's Hots. S varies directly with their advertising budget, A, and inversely with their hot dog price, capital P. Okay, go ahead. So we know varies directly, y is equal to what? K times x? I'll write the two formulas at the top while you're writing the question down. Y is equal to K times X. And what is inverse? Y is equal to what? K over X. But you can't use X. You're going to have to use something else because what's X over X? What does X? It cancels. So you can't use the same one. So you're going to have to, I'm going to use W or W, depending on where you're from. And I want you to merge those two together and do the problem. I think y'all have the whole weekend to work on 6.4, right? I think it's due Monday.
Yeah, that's still.
6.3 is due on Monday, but 6.4 I don't think is open yet.
Yeah, 6.3 was just due on Monday, my bad.
I thought okay, I'll check it before we leave.
I'm just looking at it right now, that's all I see.
Okay, I'll fix it before we leave. I thought I checked it before class and I must not have hit assigned or I didn't.
Well, it says, it looks like you tried to change it, but it says due on like 4/14/2019.
I didn't change the date. Okay.
Yeah. So both 6.3 and 6.4 are due on Monday?
Yes, I'll fix that after we finish.
Okay.
What did she say? I didn't say you can't use the calculator. If you have something simple, you should. Now look, look at all them zeros. Look, wait a minute. You got all them zeros. Come on, you can't cancel out some zeros. Now she's ignoring me. I talk to her, she ignores me. You're gonna make a good wife.
I'm not get married.
Good. That's a good thing. That's what I tell my kids. Don't get married. Wait till you get above 40 and then get married. Well, females can marry above 30, but guys should not be married. That should be an amendment to the Constitution. Males should not marry until they're over 35 years old.
A lot of men that I work with, they're like 50 and 60 and just have babies. Like they've got college kids and they just have babies.
Babies. Just have babies.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I tell my daughter, I said, don't get married. Don't marry a guy until he's 35 or older. Because it's either domestic violence or it's wasting money on toys you can't afford. One of those two things.
I feel like I'd be the
Older, and she dated like a 20-year-old guy. It's like $1,500 every freaking week.
See?
Go on a free, just random stuff, and then he sits at her house for free and doesn't help her pay bills.
You know what that is?
what
A
is
child.
it? Sugar
That is a
mama.
freeloader.
She is sugar mama.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to be a good one.
All right. So what are we going to do? Put these two together, and you get, I'm going to put a plus there, you get y is equal to kx over what? W.
Wait, ooh.
Now make sure it doesn't say square, does it? I don't see square anywhere. All right, now let's change them. What's your first variable that you come up with? S. So I'm going to type in, I'm going to put a big S is equal to, K does not change. Okay, what's the next letter? A, big A, over P. There is your equation. Now, what do they give you? When their advertising budget, well, let's look and see, varies directly with their advertising budget, A, okay, is 600, and the price of a hot dog, which is what? P, 150. They sell 5,600 hot dogs a week. So that means we got to find what?
Okay.
Okay. So 500 or 5,600 is equal to K. What is A? A is advertising budget 600 divided by what?
150.
150. Now, let's go ahead and divide that 600 by 150. Watch this. Let's take this red marker and take out those two zeros. Take out that zero there. Now, 60 divided by 15 is 4, right? But what is 60 divided by 1.5? That would be more than 4. It should be 40. So 5,600, somebody check me, is equal to K times 40. Here we go. Got another zero to take out. And that zero goes out. K is equal to, well, how many times will 4 go into 5? 1 time. How many times will 4 go into 6? 1 time. How many times will 4 go into 20? 5 times. So K is equal to
Hold on.
115.
I got 14 because
Okay, then
600 divided by 150 is 400.
Okay, I didn't do one decimal. I meant one. Thank you.
That's why I used to calculate. Jeez.
I can make change when somebody gives me 56 cents. Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
I am a cashier. I've
Okay,
been
good.
a cashier for like over 2 years.
All right. Well, what is? Let's see. That's 400. So that's 2 zeros, and that would be 5, 1. That'd be 14. What'd y'all get?
14.
Okay, you got something wrong with your mouth or something? Something wrong with her mouth.
She's alright.
I think she's on drugs. All right, so now we take S is equal to 14 times big A divided by big P. And I don't know if they're going to ask us something else or not. I doubt it. So let's see what they get. Okay, here we go. We just did that. Now, find the expected sales if the advertising budget is 800 and the price is 175. So let's do that. So, good gracious. You've been drinking martinis. Let's see, advertising budget is equal, what was it, 14 or 16? 14 times what?
600.
Big P?
800, what?
Oh, it's 800 now?
Big P?
Yeah.
Big P was.
Big P over
was,
big S?
What?
Oh, they flipped.
I thought it was S equals.
I asked y'all,
It's S
I asked
equal-
y'all, and y'all didn't say a word.
It's
And then when I write something down, y'all are like, no, they ain't right, you're stupid.
It's S equals K.
Okay, can I have it again?
S equals 14A over P.
Thank you. 14A over P. And they give us the advertising budget is 800, so that'd be 14 times 800 over 175. And yes, you will use your calculator on that.
6,400.
I'm sorry, what?
6,400.
Easily, y'all see why I have a hard time over here.
Yes.
They're scared to. They scared you might criticize them. All right. There's that. There it is. Y'all are smart. All right, that's it. That's all we're going to do today. Make sure you work on, now, don't leave yet. Don't be rude. I'm going to stop the recording, but I want you to be sure you get 6.3 and 6.4 done this weekend. I'm fixing to change it. So that means when y'all come back, we'll be ready for 6.5. That means what? Test is coming up. All right, I'm going to hit stop recording.